So, here is how to actually build muscle, right? Like how to actually like train to build muscle because bro, you obviously know that there's like lots of training style, there's lots of like exercises, lots of things like to train, right? But which of these actually build muscles? But first of all, who even am I? My name is Muhammad and I've been training for 3 years now consistently. This is what I currently look like, right? And I think I've had a good transformation. I was able to build muscle and everything. So here's like my arm transformation. I used to be kind of skinny and then I was able to gain muscle. Anyways, let's start with the basics of training, right? So the exercises that build muscle are called like this type of like the specific type of training is called resistance training, right? So what are examples of resistance training? Push-ups, bicep curls. You're resisting something, right? The muscles are resisting, right? Chest press, right? These are all exercises that build muscle, right? Resistance training, right? So first of all, you might have heard like I'm gonna go with the like basics and then move to the advanced stuff, right? So first of all, let's cover reps. You might have heard this term and like you're not really sure what reps are. So reps are just basically repetitions, right? How many times you do that exercise, right? So let's say you're doing push-ups, right? Push-ups, and you do seven, right? You did seven, right? And then you took a break. You did, you were able to do like five, and you took a break and you did like four, right? On the first round you did seven, right? On the second round you did five, and on the third round you did four. 4 reps, 5 reps, 7 reps, right? And now that moves me into my next term that you might know. You might not like know, right? Which is called sets. You might be wondering what sets are, right? Sets are basically these rounds. So the first round you did 7 reps. The first set you did 7 reps. The second set you did 5 reps. And for the third set you did 4 reps. Those are sets and reps. Right? Those are the two basic terms, right? Keep them in mind. And now, that's like it for the basics. Nothing too crazy around that. So to build muscle, I would say like what rep range, like how many reps should you be doing like to build muscle and all that. Hmm, around 8 to 15 reps. I know. You might have heard. No, actually, this is the sweet spot, right? Anyways, another term I want to teach you about is progressive overload. I'm not gonna write it. It's gonna take too much time. So progressive overload is basically so, bro, let's say when you're doing a certain exercise, like for example, with weights, right? When do you increase the weight, right? This is where this comes progressive overload. So, bro, when you start with an exercise, let's say bicep curls, right? I hope you know what bicep curls are. So, bicep curls are basically when you're curling the weight, right? You're standing here with your hand, you have the dumbbell here, and you're curling it up, right? So, let's say you start with doing 5 kilograms, right? For 8 reps, right? 5 kilograms for 8 reps. That's when you're like first week of training, right? So now next week try to do 9. Then the next week try to do 10 until you reach 15. After you reach 15, you've reached the last like final level with the 5 kilograms. So now it's time to increase the weight. So you go to 7.5 kilograms, right? And you'll find yourself able to do 7 to 8 reps, right? So here you're going to be able to do now 8 reps, right? And now you do that whole same cycle until you reach 15 and increase the weight. You understand? So progressive overload is like the system to know when to increase the weight, and like you keep doing this to build muscle, because bro, to build muscle you have to keep like challenging the muscle, right? You can't just be doing the same like the same way, the same reps every time to build muscle. No, you have to keep challenging the muscle, right, for it to grow, like to force it to grow, right? And bro, you might have been expecting me to talk about mechanical tension or like micro tears. No, no, no. We'll keep it simple, right? And now that's it for the basics. Sets, reps, and progressive overload, right? These are the basics. And now let's move to the advanced. And now, to build muscle, right? You have to be doing enough of two things. Can you guess what they are? Intensity and volume. You have to do both of these, right? Intensity and volume, right? First of all, like what's intensity? Intensity is like how hard you do, like how hard you train, right? And for the volume, it's how much you do, right? Basically. So volume is like you can think about like the amount of sets, right? Intensity is how hard that set was. So I'll just give you like a rule of thumb, right? So with every set you do, just like I said, the rep range is going to be 8 to 15, right? 8 to 15, right? And now, for each set, you're going to go till failure. And the best, like the sweet spot, like the best weight for you to like the best weight for you to be doing is a weight that you reach failure at 8 to 15 reps. So you're going to be doing for each exercise 3 sets till what? Till failure, right? 3 sets till failure. Now failure, that's the intensity part ticked, right? Because you're going all out, you're training really hard. That's what forces the muscle to grow and everything, right? That's it for the intensity. And what about volume, right? I mentioned volume and intensity, right? Intensity, just like training hard and all that, really simple, but not for the volume. Volume is basically how frequent like you train that muscle, right? For example, let's say chest, let's say biceps, right? How many times should you train it? And now when we look at like volume, we look at the sets for the whole week, right? So for the whole week, how many sets, like how many exercises of biceps do you do, right? For biceps, chest, and all that, especially as a beginner, you can start with 9 sets a week. 9 sets, 10 sets a week. And now, oh, this might like look a bit weird. 9 sets a week. What do you mean 9 sets? So that's basically 3 exercises. Exercises for each muscle. 3 exercises with 3 sets each. So for each exercise, you're going to be doing 3 sets, right? So that like totals to 9 sets a week. And you're going to be doing that for each muscle. Of course, as you progress, you'll be like the max you like reach for the one set's like 15 or something, right? But anyway, as a beginner, 9 sets a good spot, right? So that's 3 exercises for each muscle. And for each of these exercises, you're going to be doing 3 sets till failure, right? And another thing I kind of forgot to mention is splits, right? You might have heard about them, splits. And now what are splits? It's basically your workout plan, right? Like how many times per week you work out, like what do you hit? Like for example, there's the bro split where you hit chest on one day, shoulders on one day, right? That's the split. And there's other splits, like for example, upper and lower split, right? I know about the splits. Which one do you do? Just find out how many times per week you're going to work out, and then just find the one that really works the best for that. So let's say you can only work out. Let's get a new page for splits, right? Splits. Let's say you can only work out 3 times a week. 3 times a week. You could do, for example, full body. Full body workouts 3 times a week, right? Or let's say you can do workout 4 times a week. You could do upper lower split. I'll explain it now. Upper lower, right? And let's say you can work out like 5 times a week. You could do like push pull leg, upper lower. I'll explain all of them, don't worry. Look, for now, you don't really have to focus on these, but this is like a full like masterclass on training, right? I don't want to like miss out on everything on anything. So for the 3 times a week, right? You're going to be working out 3 times a week, so maybe like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right? You want to be hitting the whole body, right? Like all the muscles, like all the muscles are like in a balanced way, right? You don't want to like neglect a certain part or anything. So 3 times a week, you're going to be doing full body, right? And now let's say you can work out 4 times a week. You're going to be doing the upper lower split. The upper is like a day where you're going to hit the upper muscles, and the lower is a day that you're going to hit the lower body muscles, right? So what do you mean 4 times a week? So 4 times a week can be like Monday upper, Tuesday lower, Friday no Wednesday rest, Thursday upper, Friday lower. Excuse me, right? So that's like 4 times a week, right? And now let's talk about 5 times a week. There's like lots of splits, right? But for now, these are like basic ones. Push pull leg, upper lower. So push pull legs, PPL. Push is for the push muscles, chest, shoulder, and triceps, right? The pull muscles, the pull day is the bicep and the back, right? And legs is legs, right? And then upper and lower. So push pull legs is going to be push. The first is going to be push. Second day pull. Third day legs. And after that, you can do a rest day. Then upper and lower, right? This is like example of a 5-day split, right? I know this might sound a bit kind of hard and all that, but like this is like a full master course, like master class, right? You don't have to follow everything, especially as a beginner. Don't really focus on this, but just keep them in mind, right? Just understand them. And now, which is the best split? The best split is the one that you can do and stick to, right? Because consistency is the key to all of this, right? And that's it. That's it for training to build muscle, right? And now, bro, if you're serious about reaching your dream physique, DM me on Instagram. And that's it. Thank you for watching. Take action. Assalamu alaikum.